I want you guys to listen to this guy, and he's speaking as if things are just so out of point, and people are accusing Pastor Ken regarding to the disbursement, and according to him, he said Pastor Ken have the data which is supposed to be the template for the payment that nobody else have the data which is going to be used for disbursement. He said a lot, and he talks about accusation here and there, and he talk about which is some people should stop indicting Pastor Ken and the rest, and causing the masses to be afraid or not stable when it comes to information or grant. Well, in my own opinion, I think it's because disbursement does not take place yet, and the information is here and there. That is why a lot of people is speaking, if I may say. And I believe you too. You still need you. I believe you too need to listen to this guy, and let's continue the conversation in the comment section, and share this video as well so that other people can also see it. You understand? So information is key. You know, I can tell where that information is going to drop in your doorstep. So your own role is to share this video on social media platform, and see you in my next post. Bye for now.
Meanwhile, there is a certain post currently being circulated across the WhatsApps and Telegram groups claiming that the AGPGN are still collecting proof of payment. And remember, the president of All Grant Pressure Group came on publicly to suspend all collections of proof of payment. Then ask me which NGO will still foolishly go and submit proof of payment to anyone at this moment. These are mere assumptions and permutations by these people who are out to divide and incite the masses against the All Grant Pressure Group. And this is the same All Grant Pressure Group that are the reason why disbursement is currently at this final successful stage it is. So this is not a time for anyone to speak in assumption, because you are actually creating more division or damaging more privilege for the UAAG in front of this government authority. This is not a time to make noise. Do you have evidence of some NGOs who are submitting these letters to the AGPGN? There's another post by Mr. Pascal that there is a petition raised against Apostle Ambassador Ken Wakama. Please let Mr. Pascal publish such petition, if any, to the masses. You don't speak without evidence. If you think certain people or the AGPGN be plain in your accusation, Kendra is standing at the other side accusing AGPGN of collecting proof of payment, while Mr. Pascal is standing at this side accusing people without names, which we know he is directly addressing the AGPGN of raising petitions. Please publish the petitions at this social media platform. Don't speak without evidences. The last time we checked, is nothing like removal of Apostle Ken's or stopping Apostle Ken from disbursement. The only factor everyone is aware is Apostle Ken or the UAAG and the AGPGN did not go outside the shores of this country to bring grant to disburse to the masses. Therefore, what will the petition say? That Apostle Ken bring grant and he is being restricted not to disburse to the masses. What will be the content of this petition? Because if you as a grant handler travel out and attract grants to your country, nobody can petition you not to disburse such a grant. What is the content of this petition, Mr. Pascal? Please explain in clear terms to the masses. If Apostle Ken is even arrested today, he won't even take 2 or 3 hours. He would defend himself. What offense are they accusing him of? Nobody goes to force headquarters and languish in there. The last time he was there, it wasn't even up to 3 hours. He was out. So why are you even afraid of petitions if there's a petition in the first case? We should learn to stop this factionalization, all this divide and rule game. We should stop inciting people against each other in the grant ecosystem. Why all these resenting voices at this moment? This is the same AGPGN that helped provide Apostle Ken for disbursement. They have agreed to work with him from the onset, and they are still working with him. There are few questions that we should ask ourselves. in this grant pursuit, 3 particular accounts was opened for this disbursement purpose. One of the signatory is Pastor John, seconded by Apostle Ken Wakama and then Comrade Abdul. Have they removed Apostle Ken from being signatory to this account? The answer is no. He's still the signatory, and money will be disbursed to all these 3 accounts which he's equally signatory to. So why are they petitioning him when he is still profiled as one of the signatory of this disbursement account? Please, let's tell ourselves the truth. Stop inciting the masses against the same group that are helping the masses and Apostle Ken or UAAG. Whose data is going to be used for this disbursement? The AGPGN don't have a data on their own. They are using Apostle Ken's data and the NGO CEOs who undergo verification and screening. They will still use the app for MOU signing. Why all these incisive voices everywhere? We have to learn to be matured in this case and stop speaking like children in this ecosystem. Speak with evidence. What should consider possible reasons why anyone will want to remove Apostle Ken when he is still profiled as one of the signatories to this account, and when they are still using his app to sign MOU, or when they are still using his NGO data, which he used for verification and screening, for disbursement? Why should anyone petition him at this moment? And one final activity we should stop promoting in this ecosystem is the activity of status and title. This grant doesn't have a country director. Let's stop calling certain names as country directors. I have said in this former video that if Apostle Ken not being called country director will bring about disbursement, it's not the title of country director we are all looking for. It's not the title of country director that Apostle Ken himself is looking for. He's looking for the masses receiving this disbursement. So anyone that is coming to still say Apostle Ken is the country director, he is the one to disburse the grant. What if this is not the intent of the government authorities profiling or facilitating this disbursement? You will end up sitting in the WhatsApp and Telegram groups destroying things for the masses. Have seen another publication claiming that the AGPGN are trying to pay palliative to the masses. For God's sake, these are all lies from the pit of hell. These are whole handiwork of false news and fake news propagators in the ecosystem. Both the UAAG and the AGPGN have no power to influence or decide how much a given beneficiary or NGO should receive. Let's stop talking in a way that causes some audience of people to hate some certain people. Government decides everything. If this grant will have a country director, the government authorities will pick whoever they want. This is none of our concern. So why are you sitting here pushing on who is the country director of which grant? Did any of these people, AGPGN or the UAAG, travel out of this country to attract grants to Nigeria? So why are you addressing it, the UAAG grant or the UAAG country director? We should learn to know the intent of the facilitators or the authorities that are influencing or facilitating these grants first, before we sit here and push what will destroy or damage everything for everyone. Let everyone be on their alert to protect or to resist falsehood, to resist those that are peddling falsehood in the ecosystem, or to incite the public against the AGPGN. Like I've always stated, the AGPGN are the reason why we are where we are. They are the messiahs and the forerunners of disbursement. Even Apostle Ken and the UAAG are aware of this. Without the AGPGN, there will be no government authorities. They are the connectors that connect Apostle Ambassador Ken and the UAAG to government authorities today. So why will they do anything to disrupt the success that is already established by these same people? These are all falsehoods we should guard against. Those that are peddling news to incite the masses should stop forwarding and sharing such news. The voice note of Mr. Pascal is purely misleading and should be disregarded by all factions and groups in the ecosystem. All what we should be promoting is how the AGPGN and the UAAG should work together. Peace, harmony, and stability is what is needed for disbursement to take place. Nobody is petitioning or fighting anyone. Nobody is submitting proof of payment or requesting for proof of payment to be submitted. All these are mere falsehood to mislead or incite certain people against each other. God's grace is already sufficient for all of us, and we should guard against those that are being possessed by certain elemental forces to act against the wild expectation of the masses. This is not who we are. This is not what the grant ecosystem demands currently. It demands peace. It demands reconciliation. It demands harmony and unity for disbursement to take place. Let's stop inciting people against each other. The grant ecosystem witnessed uproar and outrage just a few days ago, which further degenerated into multiplication and rising of factions speaking to defend the UAAG and another faction speaking to defend the AGPGN. And this is not quite good for the grant ecosystem. Ultimately, at the peak, at the climax of this all, was the emergence of a new body called the Nigerian Grant Fighters, headed by Chief Agogun and others, with an intent to discover the truth about the disbursement that is delayed for quite some months now, which has spanned a year since March 2023 till date. Just hours ago, this same movement, the Nigerian Grant Fighters, resolved that they are going to embark on protest across the state and the FCT, all to discover, one, who are the authorities that Apostle Ambassador Kane and the AGPGN have always been working under. Remember, Apostle Ambassador Kane always said he is a man under authority. Now the masses, represented by the grant fighters, wish to know who are these authorities, who are this government committee, who are those constituting this government committee and government authorities that these grant handlers have always been talking about. Because it seems, going by the last address by the country director, they have provided all the requirements demanded by the authorities, that the delay is not by the side of the grant handler, it is on the side of the government. So the masses wish to know who are these authorities delaying the expectation, the privilege of the masses. Remember, the grant is not the right of the masses, it's a privilege which the AGPGN and the UAAG are being used as a vehicle for the manifestation of this privilege to Nigerian masses. Few things I wish to point out on this new plan of the grant fighters of Nigeria, headed by Chief Agogun. Who are these authorities that Apostle Ambassador Ken or the UAAG and the AGPGN are answerable to? It's simple. We are in Nigeria under the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So the authorities is not far-fetched from this circle. It is the government of Nigeria that is the authority, and we know that there is an institution under this government that are saddled with the responsibility of regulating grant disbursement in Nigeria, which we have been told time and again by the grant handler that they are the NFIU, the Nigerian Financial and Intelligence Unit, and the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, including the Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, and the Bureau for Statistics. These are all financially regulatory bodies that streamline and regulate the activities of grant handlers in Nigeria. So if the grant fighters are seeking to know this authority, then they should first of all know that it is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, followed by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and the Director of the Nigerian Financial and Intelligence Unit. These are all authorities. So the question is, do the masses, the grant fighters, have the power and influence of approaching these authorities to request for the reason for the delay of the widely anticipated disbursement. Hence, we know that this new decision is not going to worsen or even suspend disbursement, because there are decisions that we may not know the consequence and the outcome only when everything has completely been damaged. Yes, it is true that when the grant fighters hit the street and start protesting, holding placards, calling on government to disburse immediately, government will now start questioning who are these bodies. It will attract the attention of relevant government bodies, including security agencies, to investigate why there is delay in this disbursement. But remember, during this activity, questions will be asked. What is the name of the grant you are protesting for? What is the name of the grant? You say it is UAAG grant. Is there any grant like UAAG grant? Or you will say that it is Apostle Ken that said he has a grant to disburse, and that is the grant he failed or delay in disbursing. Or you will say it is AGPGN that said they have a grant to disburse to the masses since March and they are not disbursing it till date. Then the next question is, Apostle Ambassador Ken or the UAAG and AGPGN intimate the masses that they have a grant to disburse? It's simple, no, because from the onset, Apostle Ambassador Ken has always been saying that he's the only country director that his name is on a document without his knowledge, and he's working to discover this document to disburse grant. Likewise, the AGPGN, they keep telling us that we are chasing a grant that belongs to the masses, and they have been fighting to ensure Apostle Ambassador Ken is profiled as the country director to disburse this grant. So neither the AGPGN or the UAAG have this grant. They did not travel out of the shores of Nigeria to attract any grant to disburse to the masses. Did the All Grants Pressure Group travel out of the shores of Nigeria to attract a grant to disburse to Nigerians? Or did Apostle Ambassador Ken or the UAAG travel out to attract a grant to disburse to the masses? The answer is no. This AGPGN and the UAAG has never told Nigerians that they have a grant on their own. Rather, they keep saying that there is a grant and a document which Apostle Ambassador Ken's name is on, that they are going to disburse to the masses. This is the same reality that dawned on the UAAG few weeks ago when they traveled to meet the Chief of Staff at Lagos State. In that meeting, they requested that the Chief of Staff to the President should help them to disburse a grant belonging to the masses. And the first question they were asked, where is the document revealing the name of this grant? Unfortunately, they don't have. Then what is the name of the grants you are trying to disburse? They don't know. How much is this grant? Nobody knows. Who are the donors? Nobody knows. And you know, government doesn't work without documental evidence. They simply tell them to produce the document of the grant in question. They will help them. And that is how they return back. But the reality is that there is grant in this country to be disbursed. And remember, in one of Oster's Dawood voice notes, he stated that at a certain time where Mrs. Beatrice Oduduwa was fighting for a grant to disburse to the masses, she did not have an NGO to use in receiving this fund. She then turned to Apostle Ambassador Ken to use Apostle Ken's Sanctuary Wealth Humanitarian Foundation. And that is the document that bears Apostle Ken's name for Ken to disburse this certain grant. But the question is this the UAAG grant or the Sanctuary Wealth grant that Apostle Ken's name was profiled on to be disbursed? The visit of Apostle Ambassador Ken and his team to the Chief of Staff should have been a prayer answered for the masses if Ken had this document. And this is the same level where all past grant handlers failed. The same reason why Golden Bridge, Ishiba, SEM, Terpacon, Theobarth grant and every other grant failed in this country. This is the same spot most of these grant handlers can't crack. Yes, they will always discover this grant existing for the masses, but they don't have the document to access and disburse this grant. And this is where the All Grant Pressure Group comes in. They becomes the only institution that finally crack this puzzle, discover those certain documents that can gain access of the grant handler to this disbursement. And the masses are blaspheming, rebuking, and insulting this same All Grant Pressure Group currently. All Grant Pressure Group is the messiah of the masses, because without them, we couldn't have traveled this long distance to this successful outcome that we are finally at. Sometimes we neglect people because of their educational status or their background, unknowingly that the grace of God can be embedded in the body of a hunter's daughter or son. Time and again, God uses lowly people to alter the narratives of a given generation. Even the Jesus Christ that is revered by many and a savior to entire Christendom and humanity was born in the house of a furniture maker. Was Moses not there floating on water in an Egyptian Nile river? And the same Moses that was the reason for the breakthrough of the Israelites. Time and again, God uses uneducated people, lowly people, people from underprivileged backgrounds to change the destinies of societies. So this is the same scenario that is playing down in the grant ecosystem. This, they call them boys. They call them street boys. They look little, they look small in appearance, but carrier of extraordinary grace. The All Grant Pressure Group discovered Pastor John. Pastor John connects them to the AIG you have been hearing of in many V-notes. And the AIG eventually discovered a more compelling authority, Hajia, the Hajia that is a prayer answered to everyone in the ecosystem. So the authority again, which the grant fighters are seeking for, is not far from the Pastor John, the AIG, and the Hajia. Apart from the other governmental authorities, these are the only authorities that are more closer, standing at the side of the masses to help the masses experience disbursement in this time. But these authorities only operate with individuals who uphold the three major tenets of administration: confidential, secrecy, and classified. Therefore, if you are an individual who don't bridle your tongue and who don't observe operational decency, it will be quite difficult to operate with these authorities, especially the direct authorities that are helping in facilitating the activities of this disbursement. At a certain time, we were told that the Apostle Ambassador Ken has been removed as the country director of this grant. This removal, this allegation at that certain time was tied to a certain activity that was discovered at the side of the country director of the UAAG in the grant ecosystem, which threatens the expectation of disbursement. Time and again, Apostle Ken has addressed the grant ecosystem, but managing information. Normally, these authorities doesn't expect Ken to be addressing the masses or giving updates, because it contradicts the ethics of this disbursement. When the AGPGN and the UAAG are not constantly addressing the masses, they were warned not to be talking or giving updates towards disbursement until they are complete with the whole processes. And when you see them giving an update, it's because they are directed to provide such updates, and they can never go beyond the scope of that address. They can't come on their own and start addressing the masses, else they will be blocked of information. That is why time and again there are certain people that you may call in the UAAG team or the AGPGN asking them for updates, and they have nothing reasonable to provide to you, because these authorities operate under these three tenets: classified, confidential, and secrecy. So anyone who doesn't reflect these ethics and tendencies will be excommunicated by them. This is the status we are at the moment. The Nigerian grant fighters planning of protest. Will these authorities helping the AGPGN and the UAAG to disburse this grant be comfortable with protest? What if they decide to back away? What if the Pastor John, the AIG and the AJA decide to back away if you begin the protest? Money doesn't like noise. It's simply a parable that requires in-depth logical analysis to understand. These activities doesn't need people protesting. These activities doesn't require outrage in Facebook, WhatsApp, and Twitter. It requires silence until the activities is completed. So I'm not subscribing to the idea of the Nigerian grant fighters protesting to force government into taking urgent decision on this. There can be no urgent decision despite the protest. Rather, the authorities that are helping the AGPGN and the UAAG may be upset by this decision and decide to remove their hands and leave the masses at the center of this deep ocean. So we need their attention. Before you protest, seek the opinion of this grant handler. Rely on the counsel of the AGPGN and the UAAG. And as much as I can remember, Apostle Ambassador Ken in his last week address between the 17th and 18th of May intimated the masses that there is a productive relationship between the grant handler, which is the AGPGN, and the UAAG with government authority. Therefore, that is enough for the masses to hold on till these people come on with the disbursement we are expecting, so that we will not use our hand and destroy the progresses and the disbursements that is almost happening to everyone. These people we are going to protest against are already rich. They have nothing to lose if they don't facilitate disbursement. So let's not act out of their expectation, out of their consent. Seek the consent of our grant handlers. Seek the consent of our representatives, the frontiers of this. Currently, there is confusion everywhere. There are so many questions. Some people are forwarding SMS asking when is disbursement going to take place. After all this uproars and outrage recently, after all the divisions supporting AGPGN or standing with UAAG to blaspheme AGPGN, where are we in disbursement? I'm going to reveal this, and it's actually a good news for everyone. The fact is, while the uproar and outrage was ongoing a few days ago, the government authorities were still processing the process of disbursement. The whole noise is just here on the WhatsApps, Telegrams, and the YouTube pages. It's not on the table of these authorities helping to facilitate disbursement. They are working intensely to ensure it takes place, and it's not going to be quite far. Within a few days ago, we were briefed that these authorities were reviewing the templates, the entitlements of the beneficiaries and the NGOs. The authorities are actually standing at the side of the masses. Few days ago, they have to look again for the last time on the entitlement of beneficiaries and the NGOs. Remember, the entitlement of beneficiaries was reduced to a mere token or palliative of 50K or 100K, but there is a review supporting the disbursement of 500K. There are two particular proposals being presented by the grant frontiers. A proposal that holds 300 and 500,000 naira as the entitlement of the beneficiaries, and another proposal that holds 2.5 million naira for beneficiaries. Remember, the donor of this grant projected 5 million naira per beneficiary, and the government of Nigeria, out of their economic policies, streamlined it in the thought that disbursing 5 million or 3 million to subscribers will exacerbate the already worsened economic state, high exchange rate of the dollar to naira, and it was reduced to quite a palliative, which the All Grants Pressure Group addressed as an intervention fund. So this new proposal is holding 2.5 million naira for beneficiaries, and another one holding 300 to 500,000 naira for beneficiaries. aware of the inflation of goods and services and the cost prices of foodstuff or house rent ongoing in the country. So if this new proposal, especially the one of 2.5 million naira, is finally adopted by this committee, it's a good news for especially the beneficiaries, because anyone who holds 2.5 million naira will be able to build reputable living, meaningful life, business expansion, and startups, especially the small and medium scale enterprises, will be able to equip themselves with capital, working capital, to make or maximize their profits in this current economy. This is one secret nobody will reveal to the masses at the moment. We have been briefed that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is going to use this disbursement as part of the activities marking this year's Democracy Day. When is the 2024 Democracy Day? Monday is 27, Tuesday is 28, Wednesday is 29. Disbursement is scheduled from this new revelation to happen before this year's Democracy Day, before the 2024 Democracy Day. In view of this fact, there is no need on embarking on any protest or outrage. Rather, look searchingly at activities that are going to unfold in the few days ahead of us. We are intimated on strong authority that disbursement is already happening and is going to reflect in our bank account in the shortest time possible. Let's continue to hold firm in our faith, remain confident of this process. The more we think of disbursement happening, the more it will definitely happen. Divided thoughts, opposing thoughts, doubt, skepticism is going to delay disbursement. Man is the reflection of what he thinks disbursement to reality. This is our own responsibility as subscribers at this instant. The moment we are holds quite good news, going by the recent occurrences on Thursday and Friday working day. So many of you are aware of this new reality, and just as the AGPGN and the UAAG present it, it's not going to be quite far. In the shortest time possible, disbursement is already here with us. Thank you for being here on Omjulevia TV. If you are new on our channel, hit the subscription button and activate the notification bell. Hence, when we publish our next content, you will be immediately notified. Bye.